Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Favorite Album of the Year. We have arrived at 2005. Halfway through the first decade of the 2000s, the new millennium, right? A lot of really, really good stuff came out this year. Man, my overall list was immense, going through all the great, like, hard rock and prog and metal stuff that came out that year. So many good ones. But one of them kind of rose above the rest. But I had like a handful that were in consideration for my runner-up. So I will talk about those towards the end. But my favorite choice is a band that I really love. And it kind of, it's like the second to last album of theirs in their kind of like old style before they kind of morphed and changed a bit as a band. So released August 29th, 2005. For Roadrunner Records, produced by Jens Bogren and the band. I'm talking about Ghost Reveries by Opeth. Another winner for Opeth here, right? I played this album all the time when it came out. I was, for a bunch of years, Opeth was my favorite band. They could do no wrong. I still love them. Still listen to all their stuff quite a bit. But man, for me, Opeth was my number one band for probably about a 4 or 5 year period. Starting shortly after Blackwater Park and probably continuing up till, I don't know. One of their more recent albums. You know what it is? You go in phases, right? You latch onto a band, like Dream Theater was my favorite band throughout most of the 90s. And then in the 2000s, it was Opeth for a bunch of years, right? You kind of go in waves, especially with newer bands. You always have your old favorites, but with more recent acts, you tend to kind of really, or at least I do, I tend to latch on to a band for a bunch of years, and that's kind of my go-to band. So Opeth was that for me, and most certainly during this period. Ghost of Perdition, what a great song. The Baying of the Hounds. I think The Baying of the Hounds was kind of we caught a glimpse of what Opeth were going to be once they stopped with the death metal growls. It's got the Hammond organ. It's just kind of got this Uriah Heep, Deep Purple type thing with death metal growls, right? But, again, on this album, you get the growls and the clean vocals. They would do this and Watershed, the follow-up. They were still mixing that stuff, and then all of a sudden the growls were gone, right? Beneath the Mire, fantastic song. Atonement, Reverie / Harlequin Forest, Hours of Wealth, fantastic track. So many shades and colors and textures on this album. The Grand Conjuration, so heavy. Isolation, Tears, and of course, bonus track if you get the Digipack, they do a cover version of Soldier of Fortune by Deep Purple. Done very, very well, I might add. So, this is obviously the re-release. Digipack, it's got all... Disc 2's got Beyond Ghost Reveries, the documentary, as well as some other goodies, right? Fantastic album. Really well produced. Just an immense album. Ghost Reveries to this day still remains one of my top 3 Opeth albums. Top 3, top 4. Just really, really good. Really, really strong. Love it a lot. So, my runner-up, you ask. Like I said, it was kind of a toss-up between a couple of them. And... I decided to go with a band who has been kind of appearing on here fairly regularly of late, okay? Because I think that this was a period where this band can kind of do no wrong. They were just releasing one stellar album after another. And I'm talking about Porcupine Tree, Deadwing. I mean, it's another really good. It's progressive. It's hard. It's rocking. It's pretty heavy album. There's some really good stuff on here. The title track is great. Shallow is great. Lazarus, another great song. Halo, Open Car, Mellotron Scratch, Glass Arm. That's just really, really great stuff on here. Steven Wilson and company knocking it out of the park yet again. Again, a very strong string of albums from these guys. Has Porcupine Tree ever really done a bad album? Don't think so. And a band that should have been massive. I never understood. I think Porcupine Tree was just starting to get some kind of popularity with the crowd who maybe digs Radiohead and stuff like that. It's kind of more modern type of prog stuff, but with a lot of Porcupine Tree always had that kind of underpinning of metal and alternative music going on amidst their kind of space rocky prog type of thing, as well as pop music, right? Good British pop. So Really good stuff. So there you have my two favorites. All right. So Opeth, number one, Ghost Reveries. Porcupine Tree, Deadwing, my runner-up. So as far as what those other albums were that I was kind of debating on here, well, Dream Theater, Octavarian. Dig that one a lot. Ekelund, The End is Beautiful. Nile, Annihilation of the Wicked, probably was my number 3 here. I love that Nile album. It's so, so good. Strapping Young Lad, Alien. What else we got here? Between the Buried and Me, Alaska. Wobbler, Hinterland. If you're an old school prog fan, if you've never listened to Wobbler from Norway, I highly recommend it, man. Analog keyboard galore. That's, if you love old Genesis, King Crimson, yes, and that sort of thing, definitely check out Wobbler. Neil Morse's Question Mark album, Riverside, Second Life Syndrome, Frog Cafe, Fortune, Observer of Time. Glass Hammer, The Inconsolable Secret, Pendragon's Believe, very good album. Creator, Enemy of God, really good thrash album. Dark Tranquility, Character. Immolation, Harnessing Rune. Judas Priest, Angel of Retribution, great comeback album with Rob Halford. That also ranks pretty high for me. Camelot, The Black Halo. Epica, Consigned to Oblivion. Candlemass, self-titled. Meshuggah, Catch 33. Hate Eternal, I Monarch. Arch Enemy, Doomsday Machine. Nevermore, This Godless Endeavor, another great one. Gojira, From Mars to Sirius, fantastic album. Exodus, Shovelhead, A Kill Machine, and of course Deep Purple's Rapture of the Deep, another fine, fine album from them. So a lot of good choices from this year, but you know what? I went with these two. So you know how it goes, guys. In the comments below, list your favorites, your top 5, top 3, top 10, top 20, whatever you want to do. No right or wrong answer. We all have our favorites. We all hear these albums differently, so it'd be cool to see what you guys come up with. And then, of course, tomorrow, we move on to 2006, right? So stay tuned for that. Also, stay tuned. Within moments, Martin Popoff and I are going to rank the catalog of Ozzy Osbourne. That's coming up next, so stay tuned for that. More stuff over the next couple days, and especially going to get a lot of stuff next week. I'm on vacation next week, so I'm going to be pumping out stuff left and right, ranking the albums, top 10 songs, got some interviews lined up, all sorts of fun stuff. You don't want to miss any of it, so stay tuned for that, and we'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.